All right. So here we are, finally. Hold on. There we go. Here we are, finally, the final part of Pick 10 Special Edition. It's been a long one. Some of these I can get through fast. Some of these take like a week or so. This was a couple weeks because I took a break to do some other things. Needed to. It's different when you don't pick these yourselves, so you don't know what you're getting into. Like with this movie, never seen it, only bought it because I'm a Jerry Butler fan, and I was like, you know what, I heard this came out, never watched it, and just bought it. I think it was either $5 or $3.74 at Walmart. So, yeah, let me tell you something. I put this movie in. I was not prepared with what I was gonna get. I've heard a lot of bad things about this movie. People hate on this movie. And after watching it, I don't know why. This movie was good. Man, this movie was good. Held up by performances of Jerry Butler, and Jamie Foxx. Not to mention other performances like Bruce McGill, Viola Davis, Leslie Bibb, so on and so forth. I enjoyed this movie from beginning to end, man. Plot synopsis is here. A man's wife and daughter are brutally murdered. His wife raped, possibly, and he pulls the pants down, but I don't know if he ever gets to it because the daughter shows up. The criminals involved, the main guy who actually committed the murders, goes free thanks to a plea bargain deal. The other one is sentenced to prison. And 10 years later, the guy is going to be put in to lethal injection, but it goes awry. And the other guy is murdered by Jerry Butler, who is the guy whose wife and daughter were murdered. And now he is sentenced to prison, but other murders are happening, and he's behind it, but they don't know how he's doing these. And now you got Jamie Foxx is this lawyer, which I always thought he was a cop, but a lawyer trying to figure out what's going on, working with Bruce McGill's character, trying to figure out how to stop it. So that's our plot crunch there, basically. So, yeah, so right away you start with Jerry Butler, right? You start with Jerry Butler. He's with his daughter. They're making little crafts. His daughter is making bracelets. He's got one that says daddy on it, you know. My kid never made me anything. Well, pictures. He drew pictures. I got a Spider-Man picture. Spider-Man with a Santa Claus hat on my fridge. It's been there forever since he did it for me, but yeah. But he never made any crafts for me. That's fine. You know, I mean, that's more of a girl thing, I think. But yeah, and shortly after this, his house is broken into by these two crooks, one of which holds down his wife and attempts to rape her. And the daughter walks in. He then murders both of them. You know. And then we get to the trial. And the main guy, not Ames, the other one, he is given a plea deal. He's going to go to jail for 5 years. It's basically a slap on the wrist type thing. The other one gets like maybe life in prison or something. He gets the death penalty, basically. This guy, and well, this other guy, like when it cuts to 10 years later, and we'll get into a continuity problem, and I get an error. There's a little error, but he's going in for lethal injection, and he said he's not pleading his innocence, but he didn't kill anyone. It was his partner that did it. But he gets the book thrown at him. He's the one getting the death penalty. And he barely did anything. He helped break into the house. His partner did all the killing. His partner did all the bad stuff. But he's the one getting the death penalty. And his partner went free after 5 fucking years. And shockingly, this is not just for the movies. I've seen cases where people have committed murder, have done bad things, and they go away. I know someone who committed a felony, got 5 years, and he's out there right now, walking around amongst us. I've seen this person. I won't tell you what he did, or he did it too. Wasn't me. But he did it to me. But someone close to me. But anyway, people like that should not be allowed to walk around. You do a crime, you get life in prison. Especially for something like murder or rape. That's life in prison. That's life in prison. I mean, come on. You killed someone. And why does he not get in there? Because there was inadmissible evidence. There was inadmissible DNA evidence. It was all messed up. Never mind the fact that Jerry Butler confirms it's him. I saw him. It's him. I'm pointing you. He's a witness. Nah, doesn't matter. No DNA. Can't convict him. That is bullshit, but it is shockingly true. So something like that could possibly happen. I don't know specifically if that would happen, because like if he can point out, hey, that's the guy that did it, I'm pretty sure they'd throw him away. But I don't know. It could be something similar. Yeah. So what I want to point out the error they made. So Nick, the character played by Jamie Foxx, he's a lawyer, and he goes home to his wife, played by Regina. Brenda from Scary Movie, basically. It's not Regina King, but it's Brenda from Scary Movie, basically. And she's pregnant, right? It cuts to 10 years, and they have a daughter. They already said it's a girl, but they have a daughter. And then they say that she's 10 years old. Wrong. Wrong. If she was pregnant, and it's 10 years later, the daughter would be 9. I know it's a small little trivial thing, but she's not 10, she'd be 9. Maybe the kid actress was 10, but she would be 9. So then we get the setup to what's going on there, giving this accomplice, and that's really all he is an accomplice. He did fuck all but break into the house. He's getting a lethal injection, which is supposed to be painless, but it's not. And they track it down to the other guy who is being framed by someone else who mysteriously calls him with a doctor voice. And then they do this thing where, hey, there's a cop car, you go in there. I've knocked him out. You can just take him over. He goes in there, and you see the cop, and it's obviously Jerry Butler in disguise, but you're not supposed to realize that, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. And of course, it was him that did it. And he admits to it. And this is all about the justice system and how it's compromised. It's corrupt. Because he is out there. He is committing to doing the murder. He makes a deal with Nick. Hey, I get a new mattress for my cell. I'm committing murder. And the judge is about to let him go. And then he berates the judge and is held in contempt of court and sent to prison. And they show this cellmate of his, and I'm like, why would he get a cellmate? It's made abundantly clear why he has a cellmate and why we see him in the first part of this movie a lot. But yeah, but he says, well, our deal's not done. I have more stuff to bargain with. And he's like, you don't have anything. You ain't got nothing. He's like, what about the life of my lawyer? The lawyer that he dismissed and didn't want to do with. He's got one. Because he was representing himself, because he's not a lawyer, but he was reading up on a lot of stuff, and that's how he's able to pull this stuff and get himself, under this, and this, I have to agree with you. So I'm going to, and that's when, But, so now Nick and Bruce McGill's character, they're on the hunt which it's very confusing how he's a lawyer and he is going around with the cops trying to, you don't see, usually, you watch shows like Law and Order. Where's the lawyer? In the courtroom. Usually that's his foray in the courtroom. But this lawyer he is helping the cops. He's going around. By the end of this movie, he is the acting DA because of some kills that are committed. So, yeah. Yeah. So he's like, you give me a steak dinner with some asparagus and some lobster mac and cheese, and I want to listen, and my iPod. I want to listen to music while I eat my lunch, right? And you gotta give it to me by 1 o'clock. And if you do that, I'll tell you where he is. So they do that, but Bruce Miguel's like, nah. He's like, hey, you have to do. It's almost 1 o'clock. Let him wait. Fucking idiot. Or is it Colm Meaney? It's actually Colm Meaney that does that. It's Colm Meaney. Because Colm Meaney's playing that Nashville character as Kicker. He's not playing as big of a dick as he was in Con Air. But it's him that's like, nah, he can wait. He's a convict. He can wait. And because it's 1:08, he's too late. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. And so he tells him a location for what time to get there. He's activated something that's killed him, basically. And then the plan becomes abundantly clear. He starts sharing his lunch with his cellmate, and he stabs his fucking cellmate with a steak bone that he's, because like he ordered a steak, and I'm thinking, why would you get a steak? You can't have a knife. You're in jail. Like, how's he gonna cut? Because they're like, can I get some silverware? I'm like, oh yeah. How are you gonna cut your steak, dude? You got a knife? Well, you don't need to cut your steak because some people just picked it up. My stepdad will pick up pork chops and just eat off the bone. You can do that, Say, oh, it's gross to eat with your hands, but literally, like chicken, anything that's on a bone, really, you can pick up and eat with your hands. You don't need to have a fancy knife. Oh, cut it. It's preferred, but like a pork chop isn't like a steak can get a little big. Maybe not that. Because sometimes it's not even a bone. It's just like a porterhouse or something. He doesn't have a bone. Like a little, what do you call that? A skirt steak that's just like a little square. They're tough as hell, but you don't need there's no bone in that. I prefer myself a T-bone. Myself. And after this, I might get a steak tomorrow. I get paid tomorrow. But I might get a steak because I really want a steak. It's a good steak, man. That looked like a good steak, but from a fancy restaurant which they catered to this prison. But anyway, so he stabs his cellmate with the steak bone, and that gets him put in solitary confinement, which we find out later is what he wanted. And then now, throughout the rest of the movie, these bombs are being planted in places. We see they go to this, they're in this building all night, and then they leave, and several people's cars are starting to roll up, including Leslie Bibb's character, and she's presented as, like, you get her backstory. Oh, she's dating a guy named Chester, and and then as they're leaving, he's like, "Your boyfriend's Chester? Yeah, might want to stay with him for a few days." And when are you gonna introduce me to him? He's not ready for that. And I'm like, oh, she's dead. And yeah, there's car bombs in here. And how is he doing it? Well, that leads towards the climax of the film, where you have, I believe, is it Colm Meaney or is it Bruce Miguel? Whatever. The DA is eventually killed thanks to a bomb in a cell phone, which is hard to do. But they investigate this shop that he has because he's an engineer. So they investigate the shop and they find the secret tunnels. And judging by his reaction later, I don't think they ever intended for him he ever intended for them to find his shop, which is kind of stupid because it would be kind of public knowledge we'd have the shop, but anyway. And there's tunnels to each and every one of I can't think of the name now. Those cells that he's in, the solitary confinement cells. There we go. Each and every one. And it turns out that he's not in his cell, which you think they would have cameras in there, right? Do they not have cameras in solitary? If they don't, that's a big, like, you think they would. I mean, maybe like, oh, they're in solitary, they can't go anywhere, but this is a big example why they should have cameras in there. I'm just saying. Because he's this guy as a janitor, bit offended, and he sneaks into the, where the mayor is, town hall, city hall, there we go, city hall, and yeah, he's planted a bomb in the mayor's building, and so he sneaks away, gets back under there, and when he gets back to his cell, Nick is waiting for him, and he's like, you do this, you're gonna regret it for the rest of your life. Like, sorry, Nick. Yes. By the way, their performances are fantastic. Scenes they have together are great. They work out with each other well. I will say that Jerry Butler dips in and out of his accent quite a few times, which is weird because he's done an American accent in other movies and not dipped as much, but I don't know. Maybe because he's been in, like, was he doing those How to Train Your Dragon movies at this time where he's using his Scottish accent? I don't know. You can hear it dipping in and out, but yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention the most disturbing part. So there was a thing at the beginning of the movie where Nick doesn't want to go see his daughter's recital. He's too busy, and he orders the DVD anyway. So the DVD comes, but it's not that. It's the DVD of Clyde, that's Jerry Butler's character, of Clyde murdering the other guy, the guy who actually killed his wife. He's wearing a mask, so, you know. And the daughter's watching this, and they have to tell her, oh, don't worry, it's not real, it's just a horror movie. It's just a horror movie, it's not real, just to calm her down. Yeah, kid's seeing that shit. Yeah, because he castrates this dude. He cuts out his dick and his balls, and he fucking, yeah, he goes nuts on this dude. Just fucking, Jesus. Anyway, back to the climax. Sort of the climax, but like I told you, you're gonna regret this for the rest of your life. And he goes out of the cell and he goes, I told you you're gonna regret this for the rest of your life. Which for you is about 25 seconds. Closes the thing and he realizes that the bomb has been moved to underneath his cot in the cell. And I'm just like, how did they accomplish that? They even said, oh, he's watching. We do anything, he's gonna set it up early or catch us. But they're able to move it to his cell and put it in there. And Nick is somehow able to convince the people in the prison to allow him to do this. I don't know. But, yeah, and it blows up. It's an incendiary device. Fire around and he dies. Which I guess is why people don't like this movie, for that ending. Because I heard the big problem is that people have a problem with the ending. And I'm like, I don't really. Did people actually want him to win? Apparently there's that, the YouTube, I don't watch it, but the YouTube channel, How It Should Have Ended, where they animate. Apparently, he was able to escape. They say he should have been able to win, but I don't know. And there's a video on YouTube that I implore you not to watch, because I fell for it. It says deleted ending, How It Should Have Ended. It's fake. What it is I noticed this right away when I was watching it. They edited bits and pieces of the ending where he's going to. They took out like the fire, the phone ringing where he's looking at the bracelet. The phone starts ringing and the fire starts. But yeah, it's basically the regular ending, him sneaking in, setting up the device, that sort of thing. Talking to him, but it cuts before he says, you got about 25 seconds. He cuts that, and then after that he looks at the bracelet, and it cuts to a reverse shot with him going back into the tube and going out, and then showing him back in his disguise, his janitor disguise, and a scene from earlier in the movie where he's driving and trying to escape to get back to the cell. And then it cuts to I seen. I'm assuming it was from one of the Has Fallen movies because you got Morgan Freeman in the background as the president, and I'm like, and Jerry Butler looks older, and I'm like, no, this isn't. I don't know. Don't watch that video. It's not really an alternative ending. I even tried to look on a DVD. I'm like, before I watched it, I'm like, there's no deleted scenes on the DVD. So, okay, so I watched it. I'm like, this is obviously edited right away. It's obviously edited to some way, and then yeah, no, it's not a real ending. But I kind of like this ending because, to me, it wasn't about him winning, really. It was about proving that the justice system is corrupt, that it's wrong. And even by the end, Nick admits that he sort of sees what he's talking about, but not completely, as there's still something he's missing. But yes, technically, Nick would be at fault, but that's the point. Because now he is responsible for this, but he's going to get off because of the justice system. It's going to start the circle all over again and prove Clyde's point. And if they had actually went through this and be like, oh, you killed him, but you're an outstanding citizen. You're a law-abiding citizen. This is your first offense. We're gonna let you off. You're gonna get so and so amount of years, and then you'll be free. So he'll get 5 years in prison for what he did. That would be like, and it would prove Clyde right. You know what I mean? But they don't do that. They end it, but you could almost say that it's implied that that's what could happen if you really think about it. So I don't hate the ending at all. I actually really like this movie. And going in, I would have told you this is probably going to be on the bottom of my ranking. But I have no idea how I'm going to rank these movies. I mean, damn, this is probably the most difficult ranking I'm going to have to do because all these movies are good, man. All these movies are good. And so to rank them and say this one is not as good as the last one, it's just, and I got a pretty idea of what's going to be my last one, but it's still not a bad movie. None of these movies are bad to me. I'm going to give Law Abiding Citizen a pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on Law Abiding Citizen? Let me know in the comments. Let me share, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.